Good evening, everybody. Anyway, let's take a look at this.
What's up, everybody? What's up, country rat shit? It's Tuesday. It's September 30th. It's 7:32 p.m. on the East Coast. It's your boy CHOPP. It's Tuesday night. It's Unity with my motherfucking brother, Triple T. What's up, Mr. T? How are you today, my dude?
I'm doing good, Chop. How about yourself?
Man, I'm all right. I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
It's another beautiful day. It's just another beautiful day on this side of the grass.
Hey, every day that you're above ground, there's nothing in this world that can bring you down. When you think you have it that bad, there are 10,000 people who have it worse than you.
That's facts, bro. That's facts. So Triple T people are like, man, they's reading the down title. Unity presents a special Creek Squad guest spilling some tea. And I've had, how many people have messaged me wanting to know who it is?
It's Ryan Upchurch, folks.
Make sure you share this out.
I'm not going to answer the hard questions.
What is up, chat? What is up, chat? How are we doing? But I ain't gonna make y'all wait much. You know what I'm saying? We'll keep it real though. Now, what the guy we're bringing up tonight, he actually reached out to me and Triple T. He just wants to set some things straight about Creek Squad. He just wants to let people know that a lot of opinions about the current state of Creek Squad isn't necessarily being what is it? What am I trying to say, Tim? It's like
not being portrayed the right way.
Right. And there's more to it. There's more to what's going on, and he wants to talk about the propaganda channels that's just talking things that ain't true for what a Creek Squad person is or a supporter. So without further ado, let me introduce you guys to a friend of mine. And I met this man. I took a picture of his truck, posted it on Facebook one day, and said, probably not a fan of the show. And this is how me and my guy BUCKEYE Creeker met. What's up, BUCKEYE Creeker? How you doing tonight, brother?
Let me unmute. I am doing wonderful. How are y'all doing? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, brother.
I appreciate it.
Look, the chat said Hickory Billy. Captain Kirk. They trying to guess who it was. We just gonna bring up, man. That's pretty good. I should have ran that. I should have held that.
All right, this is crazy. Very, very, very crazy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and call it and say BUCKEYE's been blocked or backstabbed by a bunch of people that call themselves Creek Squad. Like I was 4 years ago. Or Kurt told Upchurch some bullshit lies, and everybody in Creek Squad got told the same shit, and now BUCKEYE's upset about it, or maybe Upchurch blocked him, and so now, like they say, some people will jump on the hate train. Y'all know with me, like, there's no fucking sides. I'm on my own team, but this is wild. I love BUCKEYE. BUCKEYE's been nothing but good to me, and I believe I was the first person to put BUCKEYE on YouTube. I'm just saying, I did this years ago. And we prayed.
It is what you were saying was, I'd taken an extra day off and went and visited my boys at work, and I've got one son, Big Creeker, and an adopted son. They work together.
Look, the chat said Hickory Billy. Captain Kirk. They trying to guess who it was. We just gonna bring up, man. That's pretty good. I should have ran that. I should have held that.
It is what you were saying was, I'd taken an extra day off and went and visited my boys at work, and I've got one son, Big Creeker, and an adopted son. They work together. But partly why I wanted to do this was because of my son. He's the one that introduced me, started sending me Ryan's, comedy videos, his funny videos, and sharing his music with me. And it's something me and my son has enjoyed together, But it is kind of wild that, I took that day off to go visit my son. And as I was sitting there with him on their lunch break, all of a sudden my phone started going off. And they sent me this picture. And I was like, who in the heck took a picture of my truck? Because I'm a rolling billboard. I got Creek Squad across my tailgate and an HB on my window. And it was before a lot of stuff that's going on, and I just started getting these messages, and it said, this guy Chop, and Chop Easy, and you reached out to me on Instagram, sent me your number, and I talked to you, and I wasn't even upset at all, was I? Wasn't mad at you at all. I thought it was a great conversation. I didn't even know you had a show, and that's how we met. But you know what? That's how I've met a lot of people, and I made it a point to ask these people when I meet them. I call them meeting creekers out in the wild, at gas stations. I had one guy I thought he was just trying to pass me up, and he ended up turning right and yelled out the window, Creek Squad, and when I've met these people, I've asked them, do you have any social media? Majority of them don't. Majority of them don't know who none of us are. They don't know who most of these people are on the internet. Have no idea who most of them are. One guy worked in I live in next to a little village. It's not even a town. It's not even big enough to be a town. It's considered a village. But there's a cashier that was in there, and always talked to him, always enjoyed his accent because he's from the UK. And I seen him at the Cincinnati show. My son was like, "Hey, isn't that our gas station attendant?" And then he's a big fan of Creek Squad, but he even told me then, he's like, "Man, it seems like there's two sides to Creek Squad." And I said, "There is. There really is." Yeah, there's the picture, Chop.
Yeah, that's the picture. And I didn't know who this dude was, man. I seen the truck. We were riding down the road and I seen the truck, so I took a picture of it and blew it out the tag and posted it. Never met dude. Didn't even know who he was or nothing. So this was a crazy story. But because we weren't disrespectful about it, you know what I mean? It turned out to be, I made a new friend. I made somebody I like and somebody I trust, somebody I get along with, and somebody that I know holds ethic, prudent, moral values for what they believe in.
I appreciate that. I really do. But it just, like I said, most of these people I meet, they don't even have the internet. Some people they've asked me, what's a Creek Squad, and I know that they don't know what it is. So it's got something to do with fishing because it was. I mean, I used to fish, still do fish creeks, but it goes all the way back to when I was a teenager. Me and my buddies, we used to hang out down at the creek. We used to have to cross this creek to get to school, and we would hang down there. And there were several spots down the creek that we would hang out, and we'd go down there. I was always the guy with the boombox with the mixtape, and playing my buddies' new music because we used to have this radio station. It was a college on Friday and Saturday night. And they would play, this music I'd never heard of, because we was into anything from Johnny Cash to Waylon Jennings to, Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, stuff like that. And here they were playing this music. Yeah, I never even heard of before. And it was Metallica, some of those bands before they ever got big. So it was like, I was a reaction channel even back then, but we hung out down at the creek, had a bonfire and stuff like that. We were called everything, man. We were called, we had long hair, band t-shirts on, ripped up jeans, muddy boots. And, but we come walking out of out of the woods one day, and there was probably about 10 of us. And this old couple, you sit on the porch. The old lady said to her husband, she's like, "There's them creekers," So that kind of, I liked it. You know what I mean? I liked that more than I did anything else that I was called. And actually, we wanted to name a band that we were in, the Creekers, but they didn't like it. They went with Silent Rage instead of the Creekers. But
how the tables have turned there.
Yeah, no, I used to work at a truck stop. We used to wash semis and stuff, and we had a CB radio.
What did Chop Easy mean by that? He said, "My, how the tables have turned there." What are we talking about?
So I was, I liked that more than I did anything else that I was called. And actually, we wanted to name a band that we were in. Yeah, I never even heard of before. And it was Metallica. Some of those bands before they ever got big. So it was like, I was a reaction channel even back then, but we hung out down at the creek, had a bonfire and stuff like that. We were called everything, man. We were called, we had long hair, band t-shirts on, ripped up jeans, muddy boots. And but we come walking out of the, out of the woods one day, and there was probably about 10 of us. And this old couple, you sit on the porch. The old lady said to her husband, she's like, "There's them creekers," So that kind of, I liked it. You know what I mean? I liked that more than I did anything else that I was called. And actually, we wanted to name a band that we were in, the Creekers, but they didn't like it. They went with Silent Rage instead of the Creekers. But
how the tables have turned there.
Yeah, no, I used to work at a truck stop. We used to wash semis and stuff, and we had a CB radio. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna go by Buckeye Creeker, because I'm a Buckeye, even though most of my family all, migrated from the South, all down to Tennessee and, Georgia and Kentucky. Somehow we came here and become Buckeyes. But I've always had this whole thing with first time I heard Pond Creek Road, I was fishing at our Rod and Gun Club, which is called Wolf Creek Rod and Gun Club. Me and my son we got through listening to Cincinnati Reds game, and the radio station came on. They had the same playlist they've always had. And I said, "Man, turn it to a country station, same old thing on there, So my son hooks up to his phone and plays me Pond Creek Road. And he's like, "I've been trying to tell you about this, and I didn't want to listen to some of the other music because I would really." The internet. And actually, we wanted to name a band that we were in, the Creekers, but they didn't like it. They went with Silent Rage instead of the Creekers. But
how the tables have turned there.
Yeah, no, I used to work at a truck stop. We used to wash semis and stuff, and we had a CB radio. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna go by Buckeye Creeker, because I'm a Buckeye, even though most of my family all, migrated from the South, all down to Tennessee and, Georgia and Kentucky. Somehow we came here and become Buckeyes. But I've always had this whole thing with first time I heard Pond Creek Road, I was fishing at our Rod and Gun Club, which is called Wolf Creek Rod and Gun Club. Me and my son we got through listening to Cincinnati Reds game, and the radio station came on. They had the same playlist they've always had. And I said, "Man, turn it to a country station, same old thing on there, So my son hooks up to his phone and plays me Pond Creek Road. And he's like, "I've been trying to tell you about this, and I didn't want to listen to some of the other music because I really wasn't much into rap, like I was back in the 80s with like Run DMC when it started getting gangster and ghetto. I just wouldn't resonate with that because I didn't live that lifestyle, But this whole thing with the country rap, it was something that I enjoyed. You know, I started diving into Ryan's music, and I come across this song that was called Country with Adam Calhoun, Ryan Upchurch, and Demon Jones. And what a banger song that was. You know, and I liked what it said at the beginning. It said, country just ain't a state, but it's a state of mind. And I resonated with that. I liked it, you know. And I started finding all these other artists, and there was other reaction channels. But somehow, you know, with being a creeker, being Creek Squad, I started finding some of these people that were just, they weren't good people on the internet. I mean, they were just terrible. And they're still doing it, you know. I've never got into, it's like with you, Tim, I don't, have I ever commented on any of your stuff?
No, not that I know of.
I've never commented. I've seen a lot, and I just don't comment. You know, when I do, it's usually with an emoji. You know, because ain't nobody really can argue with an emoji. But I never will forget when I first started reacting to music. My wife was surprised for one thing that I even wanted to do it, but it was something that me and my mother bonded with. You know, I lost my mother, and it was you know, my mom sung. She wrote songs. I wrote some songs. You know, and
When did your mom pass?
She passed in a 20 in a was it 21? Yeah.
21.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for you lost, Buckeye.
And it was it was the hardest loss of my life. And
Yeah, I can relate to that because I lost my mom last year. I was homeschooled.
oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. I really am. And there was nothing like losing mom to me because I talk to mom every day. You know, she lived with me. You know, I'd go see her. You know, and it was a hard loss.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was trying to be strong for my family, and I had a breaking point. You know, one day, and my wife called in some of my friends and my family, and they just surrounded me. You know, and I started reacting to music. I started my channel in 2021 or 22, you know, and I reacted to other stuff. I reacted to the Righteous Brothers, Unchained Melody, because that was one of my mom's favorite songs. But I reacted to some of Ryan's music, and he shouted one of my reactions out. I think it was Pond Creek Road. It was one of the first ones that he shared out. And when he did that, I noticed, you know, I had some subscribers go up, you know, and people commenting some beautiful comments, some of the most beautiful words that people could say to you, because my reaction to the music was genuine. It was for no clout. It was for, that's the first time I ever heard that word. Someone got in to my comments, and they commented on every one of my videos, not just Ryan's, but my other ones. Was calling me a clout chaser, you know, saying something about my hair being fake, and which is real, you know. And
Oh, trust me, I know.
it was hilarious, man. I was like, what is this, you know? And I looked this person up, and they just created that. They created that fake name and channel the day that Ryan shouted me out. So you started getting weirdos, you know. I don't know if these people are trying to act like they're fans, but they're really not, just trying to destroy his fan base or whatever, you know. But I've never been about that, you know, that type of stuff. I just ignored him. I thought it was funny, you know, because I got thick skin, you know. But
it's amazing how people on the internet will, I don't know about you, but they come after me because of my age. They say that,
you know, make fun of you for everything.
Yeah, you're too old to be doing this. Go to sleep in a retirement home. You're 90 years old. Why are you reacting to rap music? Da, da, da. So it's, the weirdos come out at night.
Yeah, the freaks come out at night. Remember that?
It's like Houdini.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, listen to you guys having reminiscing.
Oh yeah, man. I guarantee you, if we sit and talk about music, we could talk all day long. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. You know, because I loved not just listening to music, but you know, watching. I drive my wife nuts with it because I got this channel. It's got nothing but documentaries on music, and I've always loved that type of stuff. And knowing, you know, Ryan ain't long. He's not wrong about the music industry, you know, because it's been dirty for a long time. You know, I mean, it really has. I mean, they're a bunch of vultures, you know. But I just don't understand. I've never seen this type of behavior around a fan base personally in my entire life. You know, it's just odd to me. You know, I mean, there was stuff that was going on. I remember when I first discovered Metallica in a band called Megadeth, and I found out that they had a falling out. And you got these people says Metallica's better, no, Megadeth's better. What do you think, Buckeye? I was like, man, I think we got two awesome metal bands out of it. You know, that's what I thought. I listened to both of them. But for this stuff to be going on, that's going on now, that you can't, if you listen to this person's music or that one, that you're the enemy. They hate you. They make fun of you. They laugh at you. You know, we've been attacked. You know, I personally have. I mean, it's an attack. You know, it's one thing to say something behind. You know, you get together with some buddies, you're going to cut up and laugh, and you know, if you ain't never done that, then man, you ain't never been my friend. You know, because that's just what we do. You know, I mean, you know, yeah. But to be accused of stuff that you didn't do, you know, we were accused of things, and I'm talking about the council, and it was attacked because there was jealousy. There was jealousy there. You know, and I found out from a certain person that, you know, they said, "Oh, I've been following you all along. I've been subscribing to you." I was like, "Well, if you have, you've never liked anything, you've never commented." So they're secret haters, is what they are.
Can you tell the people in the chat what the council is and who's a member of it?
It started out. I reached out to you know, to Ords. He subscribed to me. Gosh, back when I had my first channel. I've had 2 channels, reaction channels. First one, I was attacked. I found out.
You know, Creek Squad.
Gosh, I don't know. I don't put a date on it. Being a fan of someone's music, but gosh, it's been a while. You know, I mean,
I
And
don't
it's
mean to put you on the spot. Just
no,
I mean,
that's,
were you back like in 2015, 2014 when you first started, or was it a little bit later?
it was probably back then when my son was sharing out some of stuff to me,
Okay.
you know, some of his comedy videos. Then when I saw, you know, because I listen to music, I love listening to it. I don't have to even see what someone looks like or anything. But when I watched the video of Pond Creek Road, I thought when I put two and two together, I was blown away that this was the same guy that was making these, you know, funny videos, and it was something that I could relate to. That song Pond Creek Road has a deep meaning for me. It really does. And because I lost one of my buddies, I almost went with him. He was at a party one night, and my buddy come to pick me up and was going to, you know, do a beer run and stuff and go to this party. And when they showed up, there was this guy I'd never seen before, and he was drunk, you know, and I was just a teenager. This guy was drunk, and something told me not to go with him. And I was begging my buddy Marlon, "Don't go, man. Just stay here." And he's like, "No, I'll meet up with you." And here we get to this party, and they weren't there. Then I heard, Marty's sister, or Marlon's sister Marty, her screaming and crying, and they come to find out that they all went off the side of the road on Rip Rap Road and hit a tree and killed all three of them instantly. And it stopped me in my tracks, and I thought, man, I could have been with them, you know. And ever since then, when I get around my buddies, I wouldn't drink. You know, I was driving before I had a driver's license, you know, and because I didn't want my buddies for that to happen to them again. So when the song Pond Creek Road, it says the black marks lead into another lifetime in the side of a tall pine, man, that resonated hard, you know. And you know, I started loving the music, you know, especially the country and rock stuff, you know.
Right.
But there's I've met so many good people within Creek Squad. I mean, they become my brothers and my sisters. And one thing I do have is integrity. You know, I don't believe in stabbing people in the back. But we've had that done to us, you know, by certain podcasts. You know, I think you've had your run-ins with them too. But to sit there, you know, when you got my number and you got a problem and you can't call me, but you can run and spin this narrative on a bunch of guys, like we were sitting there talking about this other content creator, you know, like we was ganging up on a woman. We was all keys of that. And yeah, that really made me mad, you know, because my son was a part of the council, you know, and I never really cared for the name too much, but I kind of liked it a little bit because it reminded me of Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars.
Okay, let's be fair. I'm going to not watch this yet, and give it the appropriate review, and I'm gonna do it tomorrow, probably in the morning, but like mid-morning, and